Hi, everyone. I am Ilana Drew, Director of Strategic Partnerships and Student Recruitment for College for Social Innovation. And I have with me a group of amazing University of New Hampshire folks to talk about our new program that we are launching, SITC at UNH. Um, Jen, do you want to introduce yourself quickly and then maybe Faina, and then we can give everyone else a chance as we go along?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jen Andrews. I'm a project director in the UNH Sustainability Institute, where I've been for about 8 years and a two-time alum of UNH.
Hey there, I'm Faina Bucher. I'm the director of the Changemaker Collaborative and so excited about this new and exciting pilot. Jade?
Hi, I'm the peer-to-peer coordinator for the Sustainability Institute, and I am also excited to chat.
Fantastic. I'm going to give a really just kind of brief overview of what the program is, and then kind of get to know everyone else in the room so they can answer some questions as well. We have with us Phoebe, Autumn, and Matt, who are current SITC at UNH fellows. They're going to talk a little bit about their problem or projects. Oh my goodness. Of course it's recording, and that's what I'm going to say. And we also have Kendall here, who is adding support at UNH as well. So basically, SITC at UNH is the opportunity to really become a leader on your campus and participate in everything that you just learned about in the open house, but from UNH. So we've really strengthened our partners by connecting with different departments and organizations on campus, allowing students to complete the internship portion of Semester in the City in Durham from their college campus. And we'll get into a little bit more about the program more generally, but it's a great opportunity to, become a leader on your campus and advance social justice and sustainability while you are there. Just to start, I will first talk to Jen and say, can you give me a little bit of an idea of kind of what sustainability looks like at UNH and why does it matter?
Yeah, so sustainability is one of those things that sometimes suggests or implies different things to different folks, but at UNH, we think about it very big picture. We like to say that we approach sustainability. Thank you. We like to say that we approach sustainability as a collective commitment to human dignity for all people and ecological integrity for all places. And so that gives us room to be very integrated in our thinking and very kind of comprehensive in our thinking. Another way that we often talk about it, which folks may be familiar with, is that we look at it as something that balances social well-being, economic vitality, and environmental stewardship to meet both our present needs and also to ensure the ability of future generations to meet their needs. So again, there's sort of a look at social, economic, and environmental aspects and thinking very long-term. One more way we approach it that might give you sort of the flavor is by using the framework of something called the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And actually, can I share? I can pull those up if that's helpful. Let me do that real quick here. So there are 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and they encompass everything from making sure, getting rid of poverty, including ensuring good health and well-being for folks and quality education, equality, sustainable cities and communities, things like affordable and clean energy, which I think a lot of people tend to associate with sustainability anyhow, life below water and on land, climate change, but also things like number 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions and partnerships. That's a huge part of sustainability that sometimes goes overlooked. And so that means that in the work that the Sustainability Institute does and in the work that SITC at UNH fellows do, they're also looking at it real broadly. So their projects might focus on any number of things, including things like you see on this slide that kind of touch on any of those sustainable development goals. So we have a lot to work with, and it's very fun and exciting.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jen. Now I'd love to hear from the students that are in the program. We're going to give each of you a chance to say your name, your major, when you graduate, what organization you're working with, and then kind of how your projects fit into this definition of sustainability. Autumn, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, of course. Get alphabetical order here, I guess. My name's Autumn. I am a double major in social work and women's and gender studies. I am a sophomore right now, class of 2023. I'm working with the UNH Office of Community Equity and Diversity this semester. We're working to bring the 21-day Racial Equity Habit Building Challenge to UNH campus, which is meant to give people tools with which they can recognize systemic racism and take action against it. So it fits strongly into that social sustainability aspect. And we're also taking a lens on food systems in the Northeast and New Hampshire. So that kind of fits into, both economic and environmental sustainability as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Autumn. Matt, going in alphabetical by first name. Do you want to go next?
For sure. Thank you. So hi everyone, my name is Matt Oriente. I'm a sophomore studying business administration and sustainability. This semester, I'm interning with the UNH Foundation and Prime Buckles investment firm in Portsmouth. So this semester, my main goal is to create a scoring methodology for the UNH Foundation's endowment fund to evaluate how sustainable their investments are in regards to ESG principles. And I think this ties in very well with the overall sustainability goals of the university, because it shows how the university is able to put into practice their mission and values behind sustainability and what they're doing to improve those initiatives on campus beyond their curriculum.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. And Phoebe.
Thanks, Ilona. My name's Phoebe Adami, and I am also a sophomore here at UNH studying environmental science, dual major in sustainability, with a minor in Spanish as well. I'm working I'm interning, or fellowship, I guess, at the Sustainability Institute here at UNH, specifically working with Jen, and also working with the program PLAN, Post Landfill Action Network. Together, we're implementing the Trash to Treasure program here at UNH through COVID times, trying to alter that a little bit. And the Trash to Treasure program focuses on waste diversion. So making sure that pieces of usable products and anything usable from student dorms, we collect them all at the end of the year, then clean them, store them over the summer, and sell them all back to students at a greatly reduced prices in the move-in weekend. So it's a great opportunity for students to interact with reduced waste, but also just save some money as well. So I'm working on that, and also working just in general as waste management projects, like informing students about recycling, and kind of some side projects that in general just focus on zero waste.
Awesome. Thank you. And this is all really not that different from the type of internships that you might be doing in Boston. And as you can hear, the three students that we have with us today, come from several different majors, different backgrounds, different interests, and or different academic backgrounds rather, and are able to be matched with an organization that's doing the type of work that they're passionate about doing, that's relevant to their major and their interests. And that's the same methodology that we use here in Boston, just really kind of looking at the really broad definition of sustainability, social impact, and environmental impact, and finding a fit for just about any student to do the kind of work that they're truly interested in. One of the big things that's a little bit more different about SITC at UNH, though, is really the focus on peer-to-peer education. So Jade, I was wondering if you could give me a little bit of information about, what peer ed is in your mind, and kind of why it matters and factors into this sort of sustainability work.
Yeah, so the big difference in the program being peer-to-peer is that in the semester in the city at UNH, you're working within your community, a community you're already a part of as a student at UNH. So this has really big impacts, especially for sustainability, because you have the most power to make impact and change within your existing communities, and you're also going to be a part of that community after your program as well. So you can continue to make that impact, you continue to build that network. And a really cool thing is this peer-to-peer component is everything that you do in semester in the city at UNH is also going to impact your peers, your future student peers as well, who are going to come into the university. All the things that you do are impacting this broader campus, which is a really cool opportunity. Part of the semester in the city at UNH program, each of the students has to put together a plan for how they're going to do peer-to-peer outreach. So that's a part of your special project, is putting together how you plan to share that information with your peers, the other students that are going to your campus and are part of your community, to get them engaged in the work that you are really interested in. So you are not only engaging yourself and learning a lot, you're also teaching others and being able to spread that among your existing community.
Absolutely. And I think a big benefit that wasn't necessarily designed for, but that we think is great, is that you're not just sharing it with you're formally sharing it with your UNH community, but you're also sharing it with the community of, 12 or 13 other colleges that are doing our program in Boston. We'll talk a little bit in just a moment about sort of the logistics and how you interact with the Boston cohort. But, by attending classes and talking about what you're doing and sharing that with a larger group, you're getting to spread your work for an even farther reach above and beyond the impact that you make directly on your campus. Anyone can jump in, but of the SITC fellows currently participating, what does the peer education component look like in terms of your internship and what you're working on so far? Anyone can jump in.
Yeah, I can go first. For my project, like I said, I'm working with Trash to Treasure program, and my peer-to-peer education is focused on not only informing the student body and the general UNH community about that the event is happening, but also why it's happening and why it's a good thing for UNH to be focused on a little bit more. So as a part of President Dean's I think I best probably to call it a wish list, I guess, for UNH was to create a zero waste plan and to inform students that is not only happening in other projects and stuff like that, but also this huge project that Trash to Treasure is kind of a part of as waste reduction.
Anyone else have a peer-to-peer component they want to share?
I can go if you'd like. So a large part of the goal of both the Office of Community Equity and Diversity and Food Solutions New England, which is actually the organization that had originally developed the 21-day challenge, is looking to kind of both encourage people to, like students and staff at UNH, to participate in the challenge and just to put some deeper thought into its themes. So something that we're doing in lines of that is actually going to be student dialogues, in which we are going to be taking the content that people are being sent out during the 21 days of the challenge and just doing kind of a deep dive into like reflection on that as well. And I am going to be a facilitator in that and kind of help talk that out with students on at UNH who are participating in those dialogues.
Thank you. Matt, do you have anything to add about your project?
Yeah, I'll finish that off. So for me, one of the main things that I've been doing regarding that peer-to-peer outreach is a lot of like storytelling and putting into practice, like I said, what the university is doing to basically, earn that platinum stars rating in regards to sustainable investing. So a lot of that is either presenting, the research that I've been doing and just numerous deliverables, whether that's presentations to the Committee on Investor Responsibility or a physical, written newsletter to the general, UNH community. All those different ways are just, effective ways to basically, outreach what I've been doing and highlight the good that UNH is doing in those sustainability regards.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. Pivoting a little bit to kind of like, what does this all look like? Jen or Jade, can I get a little bit of a just sort of breakdown on what the class time looks like versus the peer education versus cohort time? Like what does it actually look like from your point as the administrators of the program?
Yeah, so I'll jump in and say that my sense is that what it ends up looking like is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, for the most part, ends up being full-time internship with the host org, maybe some peer-to-peer elements in terms of what you're learning and thinking about outreach, but really focused on the internship with the primary mentors. And then Wednesdays are a good chunk of time work, especially focused on the peer-to-peer aspect of the internship work with Jade and I and the whole cohort together, the whole cohort of peer educators. And then Wednesday evening, of course, there's class time, and then Friday is primarily class time. So it's like super focused on internship project with less emphasis on peer ed Monday, Tuesday, Thursday this semester. And then, you know, most of a day really focused on peer ed, then about a day's worth or so focused on course time. So it's a nice mix, I guess I would say. And the great thing is that, I mean, that sort of breaks it down as though it's very divided, but there's an incredible amount of overlap because the course content is really focused on special project work and internship work, and the peer education is, you know, integrated into the internship work. So if it helps to have kind of an idea of where you're focusing, that's a maybe oversimplified breakdown, but really, if we're doing it right, it's very integrated.
Yeah, and I think that's been one of the really cool things for our team to kind of work with your team and build this program out, because, you know, we really try to have everything in a semester in the city be reinforcing the other things in semester in the city. So when you're taking your Wednesday night class, like it's like the theory of what's happening in your internship. And then the Friday is like, you know, then you get to go apply that stuff. And then Friday you get to reflect on it. And so it's really kind of giving you an opportunity to have this like feedback loop within yourself and what you're doing. I'd love to hear from any or all, whoever wants to jump in, of the SITC and UNH fellows, you know, how have these pieces reinforced each other? Is there stuff that you're learning with the whole cohort that you're taking back to your internship or vice versa? How does the work that you're doing seem to connect to the folks that you connect with in the Boston cohort?
I can jump in. I know for me in particular, the one assignment that really paired with my internship was the backwards planning. Trying to have like to map out a timeline of like special project work and kind of key points of progress that you're wanting to make at a certain time. That really helped me. Not only was it like an assignment, I guess, from my mentor, but so it helps me in kind of, you know, not having to do double work, but also just helps me map out my internship with my mentor and not just with me, myself, and I. It really made us talk with my mentor, talk through it a little bit more, and kind of have that piece.
Yeah, going off of that too, I think collaboration is like one of the main assets just like throughout this whole, you know, program. You know, whether that's talking about my project with, you know, my SITC at UNH cohort, my advisors, my classes, the professors in those classes, like sustainability, you know, it should be collaborative. You know, you utilize different perspectives, different backgrounds, and all these things. And that's just one of the main things that I've appreciated, because I've been able to talk to numerous people about my project and, you know, hear what they have to say about it, and then, you know, use that as well. So that's one of the super cool things that, you know, I've enjoyed about this so far. So.
Yeah, similarly, I did also really want to mention both the backwards planning and the project proposal work that we've done in the coursework for semester in the city. They both kind of tremendously helped to both work out individual goals that are having to happen for my project and to just kind of keep in focus what the ultimate project is. Having that refined goal statement has helped keep me on task and aimed, I feel like. And also as someone who has had a few emotional struggles just as the internship has been going on, it's been nice to be able to meet with the rest of the cohort, both you guys at UNH and the larger Boston cohort, to kind of talk things out like that, be like, oh yeah, I think that's fairly normal. Here's something that I've been doing to kind of deal with feeling overwhelmed. Even though we're a little bit isolated from being in the pandemic and not being in Boston, like it's been very nice to have that connection with the larger cohort.
Absolutely. And I did want to speak to that a little bit as well, because for anyone who's watching this, as you can probably guess by all the different Zoom things, we are still in the middle of a pandemic. So we had to launch this program under slightly different logistical guidelines than we had initially hoped and planned. So at this point, for our full cohort, our classes are online, meeting virtually at this point, and some people's internships are virtual, some are in person. But our designs for the SITC at UNH program is really to be able to have several opportunities to actually physically engage with the cohort in the city of Boston. So while we don't have a crystal ball, public health officials and vaccination schedule news is letting us start to get a little bit of optimism going for the fall. And so if folks are considering the fall, the plan is, if all goes well, that we expect that SITC at UNH students will take probably 6 to 8 trips to Boston, paid for entirely by the program over the course of the semester. We'll have you come down during our launch week and get to know everyone in person in the beginning, and have you come down probably on several Fridays over the course of the semester to participate in person with our Friday workshops, and then hopefully have folks come down at the end for our showcase presentation at the very end, if we're able to have those all in person. And we want to make opportunities for, extending it to, not just a Friday, but stay for the long weekend, really be able to engage with the city and build your network personally and professionally in person as well as virtually. So that's definitely what we have in terms of hopes for the next semester. Then I'm just going to quickly recap on a slide, because not everyone is an auditory processor, just kind of some of the benefits for Semester in the City. So in Semester in the City, SITC at UNH. So, you really get to stay local while making a change in the world. You get to grow your network both in Boston and at UNH. Learn how to make a living while making a difference. You still receive that dedicated mentorship. I think even extra, you get bonus dedicated mentorship, because you probably have a mentor at your host site, and then you have the folks in this room as your additional support system. So folks really designated to helping you in your success and professional development. Being able to find your people on campus and beyond. By being a peer educator, you get to interact with a ton of other folks that maybe you wouldn't have contact with otherwise, and really connect with other people who are hold on one second, so he was like, should I close the breakout room? And I said, no, we're still going. Who you might not interact with on a regular basis, as well as folks from all these other schools in Boston. You still earn 16 credits towards graduation, and in many cases towards your major. And it costs the same as your normal UNH tuition. So it really is a great opportunity to get all of the benefits of the Semester in the City program, but while staying close to home. So if you're not in the position where you want to or need to move to Boston, if you are, involved in school activities on campus, if you love your apartment and your roommates and can't think about wanting to leave them, this is just a great opportunity to still take that step away from the traditional classroom and get that real world work experience while close to home. Any other questions or comments or things that I missed from anyone in this group? Oh, I didn't even see the chat this whole time, sorry. Absolutely.
I guess I can kind of, touch on the kind of staying close to home while still having that experience. It really is helpful for me. I know my partner's here and my friends are here, and it's really nice to have them. And although I do kind of want to travel a little bit, kind of when I'm in a structured program, I can feel better to be able to go see my friends still. And that's just a preference for me. Of course, people love to go to Boston, they love to travel. For me, I know I get a little homesick, so being able to still participate in this program while also having the option of staying back here and just being around familiar people really helps me and my mindset that way.
Something similar is what I wanted to touch on as well, which is just that the way that SITC at UNH is set up has really made it so much more accessible to people who may be non-traditional students like me. I had an 8-year recess between high school and returning to school. And so by the time I went back, I'm, kind of settled with my partner. We've got a few animals and an apartment we have a lease on. I couldn't really pack up and just go to Boston. When I had initially heard about Semester in the City, I had thought, oh, that sounds like such an interesting program. I wish I could join. And that the option of having it in Durham at UNH made it like something that I was able to participate in. And I'd really like to see some other non-traditional students in here. You can tell them Autumn said hi.
Absolutely, Autumn, and your story resonates with me as well. I'm a 2-time UNH alum, but I think I didn't matriculate to finish my undergrad until I was 26, something like that. Yeah, and I had an apartment in Portsmouth and a partner and a dog, and would have never been able to come to Boston, and would have loved to take advantage of this opportunity. So you bring up a really good point. This is something that a lot of non-traditional students, I think, just kind of go to their classes and go to their homes and feel really separate from the campus life. I know that felt a little isolating for me, but I think this is a really good opportunity to engage on your campus with more than just your coursework for non-traditional students. And I think it's, also great if people are, there's a lot of different organizations that you might not want to leave if you're on a dance team or a student government and things like that, where you'd really be able to fit that into your schedule and still be able to take advantage of this experience, whereas you might not be able to if you were studying away.
If I can just go off that real quick to cap everything off. Yeah, so that was one of the main, drivers why I wanted to stay at UNH. Because campus involvement is pretty high for me. And I'm involved in jazz band. I have 2 jobs on campus and stuff. And that was just one of the main things that I really wanted to stay close to throughout my, college experience. So still having an internship, but still being on UNH campus and, having the opportunity to be involved still was really critical for me. And that was just one of the main reasons why I capitalized on this opportunity.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to just quickly make sure that I have the, oh, you know what, never mind. If there's not anyone else have any last final words about Semester in the City, or maybe what they should do next on their end, I'm gonna, at the end, just talk about the application process for us, but anything on UNH's end that we should be mentioning? No? Perfect. So we are recruiting on the same schedule as the regular Semester in the City program. So our application is open until April 1st at this point. And there's just a little box where it says if you are a UNH student to indicate whether you're interested in the program in Boston, SITC, or SITC at UNH, or you can say that you're interested in both if you want to learn more. When you fill out that application during your interview, you'll be able to talk a little bit about the different options, pros and cons for you, and figure out which one you're more geared towards at that point. So you don't have to figure it out before you apply. And our applications are due April 1st for the fall 2021 semester. And if you have any questions, you can go right to our website, collegeforsocialinnovation.org, or anywhere on the Sustainability Institute's website, and click through to be connected to one of the recruiters to talk more about the opportunity. So thank you so much for coming, and I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of your day.